Hi, Marco.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, yourself?
Good, thank you.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm Marco Bekker. I'm a regional waste manager currently for a company, Oryx Retail. So basically what we do is we clean the shopping centers and then we recycling the waste.
Beautiful. Can you tell us maybe where you grew up?
Okay, so I grew up in a small town in the northwest called Vereniging. That's where I was born. And then we moved to Potchefstroom in northwest. And that's where my love for farming started. And yeah, basically I'm doing that on the side as well for a bit of extra cash and income. And I must say, farming is the best feeling in the world.
Beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
All right, so basically I started when I was still young. Around at age 5, I got introduced to farming. And we bought a small piece of land in Potchefstroom. And that's where we started with chickens. And then at age of 10, I decided to start my own chicken business where I bought about 50 chicks and I grew them inside a bath in the room in my house. And my mother wasn't happy, of course, but I must say, since then, everything went well, and I've since then grew a lot with my chicken business, where I've came to a point where I sold eggs to restaurants and to the hospital and all of that. And I must say, with the chickens, it's very easy to grow them. All you need is a heat source, the growing mesh, and a small piece of land, and then you'll make a lot of money with them.
Wow. How does a 10-year-old get the mindset of starting a business?
So basically, when I grew up in a family that was very hardworking. So basically, my father would work 7 days a week and my mother as well. And then I just decided, okay, I don't want to rely on my parents for money. So I thought, what can I do to get income myself as a 10-year-old? And that's where I got the idea. I basically went inside the street. I just walked up and down, and then I went inside the co-op and I saw chicks for only 10 Rand a chick. And that's when I bought 50 chicks. And then that's how the business started. And then at around age 11, I started to walk inside the township with a crate only and 5 or 6 chicks or chickens, and then I sell the chickens as well. And that's how basically I grew my business.
Did you have a mentor in that business?
Yes, I must say, when I was small, I had a mentor on the farm, but I only went there once a month, and he taught me a lot about farming with chickens, farming with cattle, farming with sheep, planting crops, all of that.
Would you say it's a business that can, sustain a person?
Definitely. It depends on the amount of effort you put into the business, but I definitely believe hard work pays off. So if you put in the effort and the time and the money, you'll definitely make profit out of it.
You mentioned that you're a regional manager, waste side. How do you juggle between your business and waste?
Yeah, so basically that's a bit of a tough one. I must say it's very time consuming because during the week I work Monday to Friday from 8 until 6. So it's hard sometimes, but I must say in the evenings with chickens it's very easy. So basically I do eggs. In the evenings I just go home, I feed the chickens, I take out the eggs, and then on weekends that's when I distribute the eggs and sell them.
What are the challenges that you face both in your side hustle and at work?
So basically my biggest challenge at work is working with people, because when I grew up I didn't really like to interact with people. I was more into animals and nature. So I must say the biggest challenge with my permanent job is people, and then with my side hustle with the chickens, it's diseases. I must say unexpected diseases, they break out and then you have to buy medicine, and then that's basically the biggest.
Is the medicine expensive? Is it for the chicken or for the people?
It's for the chicken.
Yeah.
And then it depends what disease it is, but sometimes the medicine is a lot, but sometimes it's also cheap. So it depends on what the disease is.
Can you take us a little bit through your waste management job?
Alright, so basically all the incoming waste from the center, it gets taken to a central point in the shopping center, and then at the central point we start recycling. We take out all the recyclables from the waste, and then the recyclables we sell them, and the rest it gets taken to landfill.
Lovely. What would you say to somebody who wants to get into farming?
I would say do it. Definitely, it's a chance in a lifetime. If you love nature, if you love animals, do it.
How big of a space do you think will be required for me to get into poultry? Or
for poultry, listen, I started literally in a bathtub, so you can start with poultry anyway. I know in town you can start with about 10 hens if it's controlled and it's clean. But if you have a bigger piece of land, you can get as many as 50 or 100 or 2,000 if you want. So yeah.
Where did you get the start capital for this, for the poultry?
So basically, I asked my parents. I did some work for them inside the house. I washed dishes and all of that to get a bit of pocket money for it. And then I went and I bought the chicks and the food.
Wow, I'm more curious on your thinking pattern at the time. A 10-year-old starting a business.
Yes.
How was the background of growing up in Posh? Was it Posh?
Yeah, Potchefstroom.
Yeah.
So basically in Potchefstroom, it's a very small town. It's mostly for students. But at that time, my parents worked at, my dad worked at a car place where they mixed car paint and all of those things and car parts. And my mother worked for, what do you call this place? But they also fix cars basically. So when I grew up, both of them, they were very into business. They wanted to learn more about business, and that's where I started. And I must say, if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Beautiful. Why didn't you follow your parents' footsteps and do car business? Because I'm sure there's a lot of knowledge that they have, and they already overcame some challenges, so they have some type of system that is in place for somebody who's coming up to just take over. Why the change?
So basically, everyone, I believe, you need to strive to be better than your parents. Otherwise, we placed on earth for nothing. So basically, the end goal is to be better than your parents. I'm not saying that they did a bad job, but we need to strive to be better. And I did learn a lot from my parents about cars. I can also paint cars. I can change. I can service the car. So I know about all of those things as well. I'm not keen to learn it, but I did learn it as well.
Great. And how did you leave your business and decided to get a normal job like everyone?
So basically, when COVID started, it got a bit tough with distributing the eggs, and some people didn't want to get that interaction with people. So it got a bit tough, as well as walking inside the townships, because the police would stop you and all of those. So then I decided, okay, no, I need to get something more permanent. And because I was only 19 at the time, I said, okay, no, I need to get my life in order. Let's just get something permanent, but still keep the chicken business on the side.
Wow, did you overcome those challenges?
Of course, yes, we did. I must say in 2020, I started the chicken business from scratch again. I bought 100 chicks. I had all the facilities now, so I raised all of them. Luckily, I only had 2 deaths from the chicks, so it wasn't that bad of a loss. And then I ended up getting chickens from America that laid colored eggs, like blue and green eggs.
Wow.
So yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
So basically, it's the chicken breed, they call them Easter eggers, and they lay a green and bluish color egg. So it's just the outer layer that's a different color, but the inside is still the same egg. But those chickens range from about 2,000 Rand for 3 chickens. So there's a lot of profit in them as well.
How did you know about this contact in America?
So I must say I did a lot of research, and luckily I didn't have to import them from America. There was a breeder inside of South Africa in Cape Town. So I just paid the transport fee from Cape Town until Johannesburg. And it was only day-old chicks, and I paid about 90 Rand a chick that time, which is quite expensive because normally your chicks will range about 8 Rand till 12 Rand at most.
Beautiful. So there's a young Marco out there who's looking at this and says, wow, I'm inspired by this guy. How do I juggle? I mean, how do I become a Marco? What would you say to Marco?
I would just say, listen, just believe in yourself. The biggest thing in life is to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself and believe in your abilities, you'll never overcome the fears and the negative thoughts. So if you can just overcome yourself and study hard, that's all I can say. Study very hard.
Besides the work ethic that you got from home, what do you think you got from your parents?
From my parents, I must say, from my parents, I got the hard work, like you said, and then I must say positive thinking, always to be positive, to look at the brighter side of life. Even when life knocks you down on your knees, just get up and try again.
Wow. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I have a younger sister and a younger brother as well. My younger brother is in high school now. He's doing grade 8, and my sister is in university at Stellenbosch.
Do you think they are more business-minded or you're the business-minded one?
I must say I'm more hands-on. My sister is much more, she thinks more with her brain. So she's much more smarter than me with books and paper and putting down the numbers. And me and my brother, we're much more hands-on. So we like working with our hands, and we're much more in the farming business, and yeah.
I'm more interested in your parents' parenting style.
Yes.
How do they know which one is which? I mean, this one is the brains, this one is more hands-on and likes working. How do they differentiate between the type of kids that they have?
So basically, since a young age, me and my brother, we would not really be interested to read books and to study, especially at school. So where my sister would take a book and she would read it for fun, me and my brother, we would go outside and we would make a vegetable garden, or we would go to the co-op and buy chickens. So in that sense, my sister is much more smarter than us, but we're much more hands-on, and we have much more thinking for business, if I can say it like that.
Wow, so would you say your parents are allowing their kids to actually explore who they are instead of what has money? Because a lot of parents will look at you and say, do that which gives you a lot of money. What would you say your parents?
Yeah, I must say my parents does allow me to explore more with my own thinking and stuff. They allow me to make mistakes in life, and they just told me I must own up to my own mistakes. So yeah.
So what keeps you going? What's your drive?
So basically my drive in life is to be successful. That's the end goal.
And what is the measure of success? Because we have a different type of success in our minds.
So basically to inspire other people, I think that's the most important thing for me, because I know, especially me, when I walked in the townships and stuff, when you see the small kids walking in the streets and not going to school. So basically to inspire the people to be more work-minded, if I can put it like that. Because at the end of the day, we must just be positive and carry life, because that's all we have.
Do you see yourself expanding in the farm side, maybe doing other livestock like cattle and?
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, when lockdown hit us, and I sold most of my chickens, I went into the sheep business where I bought 10 sheep, and then I started with the sheep as well.
So you already started with the sheep?
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So basically I want to start with cattle in the next 5 years, buying small cattle and then raising them with bottle, and then sell them when they're about 5 months old.
So are you looking forward to doing a butcher, or you just want to supply other people?
No, I just want to supply mostly to farms, to much more bigger farmers.
Oh, so you want to breed for farmers?
Yes. So basically what I want to do is I want to buy small cattle that got kicked out by the mother, and then raise them myself and then sell them again to the farmer.
Wow, why the farmers, not the wholesalers and stuff?
Basically the process to sell to the wholesalers and all of that, it's a bit more stretch, and for transport of the cattle and stuff, it costs a lot. So yeah, but definitely in the 10 years I would like to butcher myself. I would like to sell to butcheries, to all of those people.
Beautiful. What do you think of the farming where you are growing crops and other plants?
Yeah, so basically when I was 19 years old and I left school, I went straight to the farm and I started to work on a farm with fertilizers and chemical waste. And I must say with that, you must have a love for the plants, because if you don't have a love for plants, it will be very exhausting, because it's very hard labor as well.
Okay, so the passion comes first.
Yes.
Do you think that it's a long-term reward, or is...
Yeah, definitely it's a long-term reward. Just to see that crop in a few months, you can harvest it and then sell it. I must say that's the best feeling in the world.
You mentioned before that in your waste job, you're having a challenge with dealing with people.
Yes.
How is that going? Are you improving? Are you coping?
Yeah, I must say I am coping and I'm improving on myself as well. I must say I have a wonderful team and wonderful support from following staff members. So I must say it's going very well as well.
What are some of the challenges that you can highlight that you had?
With the waste or
with the waste?
With the waste. I must say recycling, teaching people to recycle, that's a big challenge. And then to keep the people motivated, I must say that's the biggest challenge of all.
Yeah, because it is it's work that a lot of people will say, yo, yes. I can't do that.
Because a lot of people look down on you as well when you recycle.
Yes. What do you think about that? Would you let's say somebody is looking at people who are working there and they are unemployed and feels like I'll never be able to do that.
Look, if I can interrupt you there,
yeah.
I would say then they don't struggle in life.
Yeah.
Because even if it's just recycling, I mean, a job is a job, and at the end of the day, how you go into the job with your mind, it says a lot about you, about your character as well.
Wow. So you are encouraging everyone to actually take the opportunities that they get.
Yes, I must say, if you get an opportunity, take it on with both hands, open mind, and just jump.
Some people will feel like maybe I'll be stuck in there for like a lot of years because, the sustaining of my family may not be that well. Maybe I'm getting a little money and I can never save in that situation. What would you say to a person like that?
I would say to them, nothing is permanent in life. If you feel that you're stuck in a place and you're not happy, because at the end of the day, all that counts is that you must be happy. If you're not happy, look for something else. I'm not saying leave your job if you don't have anything else. First get something else and then take the steps.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time, Marku. Do you have any last words that you would say to somebody to motivate them?
I would just say, like I said before, go into something with an open mind, grab it on with both hands and jump. That's all.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.